Would you kill baby Hitler?
I honestly don't know because in
Mm.
my head, I think history is not. I think there's the great man of history fallacy, which is the idea that history is caused by individuals because we like telling
Yeah,
stories about these big characters, but more
yeah,
often than not, history is caused by movements.
yeah,
So I guess I would not, for the selfish reason that I think murdering an infant I'd really struggle with, and for the other reason that I'm not sure it would actually improve history.
yeah,
Because if it weren't Hitler, it could have been someone else, or something worse could have happened. I think when it comes to messing with history or time, I think I've seen enough thought experiments to go, wow, that's terrible. Or
yeah,
maybe World War II would have been avoided for 10 years, and some far worse
yeah,
calamity could have
yeah,
occurred. You just don't know,
yeah.
and so yeah, I'm not sure I would actually.
What would you need to know to make a more definitive decision?
It's a really good question. I guess entirely arbitrarily, which I guess coming back to our long termism
Mm.
shows that. But if I could be guaranteed that from the moment I step back in time, so I guess from today, go back in time,
Mm.
that killing baby Hitler would have prevented World War II
Mm.
and, you know, stopped all the millions of deaths that occurred and watched Europe and the greater world usher in a sort of earlier form of the peace, the relative peace that we enjoy today,
Mm.
I
Mm.
think then it would be harder for me to justify not doing that.
Mm. Mm.
So I guess having the counterfactual of what would happen if you did do this versus
Mm.
what would happen if you didn't. So maybe,
How, yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
How important is it that Hitler is a baby? What if he was 18? Would he kill 18-year-old Hitler?
Again, entirely is I can we get paralyzed by philosophy. Something in my head would struggle
Mhm.
killing someone for doing something wrong that they hadn't done yet.
If the conspiracy theory that Hitler escaped and is alive today was true, and you found him, would you kill him?
I'm not sure he's not. I'd take him to the authorities. Well, no, that's what the justice system's for, right? Then we'd have a lot of discussions to do. So,
Mm.
what am I going to do after he's killed? Now I got you. So,
Mm. Yeah.
really, you can't give much credit to the person who
Yeah.
killed Hitler because Hitler killed Hitler.
So,
So, does that make Hitler a good
yeah,
person?
yeah,
The one guy
yeah,
who stepped up when no one else would was Hitler.
yeah. You know, the place he died is like a parking lot now. Isn't that incredible?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I mean,
they
that
did no.
feels appropriate.
Yeah, it is no pomp and circumstance, no science. It's just a parking. But what if it was like some weird situation like Palpatine? He's in
Well,
charge
somehow
of the
Hitler
courts.
returned.
Yeah, he's in charge of the courts too, so you can't just take him to
Oh, I can't
the
just. Oh, yeah.
authorities. For
Of
some
course,
reason,
what's just isn't necessarily what's legal. Yeah.
yeah, so wherever he is, he can't be extradited,
Right.
and the authorities are paid off for some reason. So I guess you could, I don't know, kidnap him and
Is he still
smuggle
causing
someone.
harm?
No, he's just an old man, but he's living peacefully.
But he's living peacefully. He's not suffering.
That's the problem.
Gosh, difficult. I guess again, my hesitancy would be there are probably lots of people like that. And so if I killed him, should I be killing other people and all that sort of stuff? I guess if he was alive today, it would be harder to find someone who had caused as much misery
Yeah.
as he did. So if there was anyone on top of the list, he'd be up there. But I really don't know. I really don't know.
Would you be willing to do something to greatly negatively affect his standard of living, like chop off his legs or something?
I
If you didn't kill him,
tweet about him.
yeah,
Guys, I think we should cancel
yeah.
Hitler.
And then some people get up in arms about that for some reason.
I honestly don't
like
know.
these woke liberals trying to cancel.
Yeah. Look, he's an old man. Okay, we all make.
It's like
anyway,
we can't use today's standards to just. Anyways, I'm just gonna. Oof. Anyways, yeah. So in this sense, you don't kill him.
I don't think I could. I don't think it was sore off his legs. I really don't think I could.
What if it's something else? Like what else could it be?
If I could sign him up to lots of pyramid schemes and get Mormons to visit him every day. I'd do that probably.
A fate worse than death. Yes.
But maybe I just lack the stones to enact that sort of righteous sort of justice by vengeance.
Pay someone else to do it.
I think the thing I'm struggling here is if I'd really discovered Hitler was alive and well today.
We've sidetracked.
There's so many things that I'd have to readjust about my worldview.
How did we end up?
It's really difficult for me to sincerely answer your question. I'm trying to. I really am.
Yeah.
Well, because again, the place I'm going to is like there are people who we can be fairly assured have done terrible things, caused extreme harm. Who maybe not like there's people who I don't know, people in the Lehman Brothers or financial institutions which helped cause the housing crisis.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, well, that was a financial crisis. But people lost savings, or members of my government who didn't lock down sooner and caused hundreds of thousands of excess deaths.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a direct way, their incompetence
Yeah.
led to people dying.
Yeah.
People certainly in the US losing savings and maybe not going to hospital or seeing a doctor sooner because it's so expensive, which directly leads to them dying or suffering more than they ought to.
Yeah.
There are so many people out there who have legally caused untold amounts of suffering and death.
Yeah.
Should I go after them as well?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a failing of mine that I don't.
So I think what's interesting about that, like the only thing that can save us from this particular spiral of where does it end, what can we do type thing, is I think in the framing of the trolley problem. Because one of the interesting things about the problem is that for whatever reason, you're not just a bystander. You are there with the lever.
Yeah,
you're not watching this
control
from
the
outside.
fate.
Yeah. You're not like watching a live stream on YouTube. Like you can actually do something. So in this case, there's the government of your countries. When will you run into any of these people? Who knows? But for whatever reason, you found yourself in like the random town in a random village, and you've seen old
Look
man
who
Hitler.
walks into the bar.
Yep, old man Hitler right there.
Yeah.
You know it's him
I know.
for some reason.
Yeah.
It's in your hands.
Not just to kill him. Take him outside.
Yeah. Well, so you can do anything except report him to the authorities or extradite him because the authorities are paid off for some reason, and there's no. He went to a country where there's no extradition treaty with any major power.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I think I'd have to see what I do in that situation. I wouldn't. You know what? If someone did kill him, I wouldn't blame him, or brutalize him or whatever.
Would you stop someone who was trying to kill him? Okay. Because that is also an interesting thing, because that's one of the most fascinating moral gray areas with Batman. Because there's the fact that he doesn't kill people, which is fine, but sometimes he goes out of his way to save his villains, like saving the Joker, for example. Which at that point it gets a bit weird.
Like, bro, what the
yeah, at that point it's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't stop somebody, and you might not pay someone to do it, but you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Fair.
Basically, I'm Batman.
I can respect that. I can.
What would you say to these questions? Would you kill him?
So I think one of the things I've learned as a teacher is it's fun to gaslight my students into thinking that I have answers to the questions I ask them. I'm like, what? You guys can't figure out this? You guys are crazy.
There's a clear moral answer.
But in reality, I'm like, I think that's why philosophy is fun. Nobody knows anything. We're all on the same. We all get to be equals, and we're just trying to figure stuff out. And so it's more fun to ask the questions than to answer them. And so realistically, I'd probably answer all of them as you did. If I'm being honest.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I'm being completely honest.